Invocation to the Lord. Dear Lord, allow my spirit to rise to your heights, to drink from the true fountains of wisdom, and absorb your powerful vibrations of love and faith, of purification and spiritual and material strength, of spiritual power, peace, understanding, health, prosperity, and harmony to pour over my brothers and sisters. Lesson 22. Mediumship. Technique of mediumship. All humans are capable of establishing, consciously or not, contacts with spiritual planes, receiving and transmitting suggestions, messages, and vibrations. That capacity is what could be called a mediumship. Therefore, all human beings, in one way or another, are mediums, even if they themselves are unaware of it. This ability takes on an extraordinary character when it manifests itself in a different way than usual. In order for a human being to receive vibrations and transmit them at will or in an extraordinary manner, the action of centers that humans possess is necessary. To awaken this action, some exercises are performed to trigger different centers. Thus, the possibilities of obtaining extra-physical contacts are in line with the centers that have been awakened. If you achieve the action of lower centers, which tend to awaken through certain exercises or through feelings and thoughts, lower beings will approach you and will use you. And if through certain exercises that can always be accompanied by elevated thoughts and pure feelings, you achieve the action of certain centers, which we will call superior, then you will be able to receive and transmit higher vibrations. When the spirit has progressed and evolved, its vibration, when incarnated, can awaken the action of certain centers that allow these contacts. However, these manifestations of apparent power could be detrimental to the being and lead it towards vanity or ambition. Then, the love of the beings who guide them will prevent these manifestations until they have overcome the danger of ambition and vanity. In the work of Christ, you received forces in certain superior centers in order to put them into action. At the same time, you are protected from the impact of vibrations on the lower centers, which may be received without you knowing, and bring you many inconveniences. When certain higher centers begin to awaken, and your incarnated spirit has been vibrationally connected with the higher planes, vibrations begin to be channeled towards you, gradually and progressively, intended to awaken the action of other higher centers that enable you to receive vibrations of greater intensity. This preparation is carried out, in some respects, individually, because even though you are all evolved spirits, each one is at a different point of evolution, and each one has a different capacity for the absorption of the higher vibrations. On the other hand, in your incarnate state, your matter has different sensitivities, and your nervous system must be cared for to prevent it from any adverse effects from the contact with the powerful vibrations that you need to receive. Each and every one of you is at a different spiritual point, and all of you are physically different. Each one of you receives the preparation needed to perform the work for which you have incarnated, in the form that best suits your spirit and your matter. For an incarnated spirit to be utilized from the higher planes in the achievement of the tasks like the ones you are meant to carry out, it is necessary for that spirit to have been previously prepared in space. This means that its vibrations have been harmonized with the vibrations of the forces that will use it. This preparatory work for the current missionary task has been carried out for centuries, in space and on Earth, to enable you to perform the work that now corresponds to you as instruments of the higher vibration. Your preparation did not begin at this moment of your present incarnation or at the moment you felt the call. Instead, you have been spiritually prepared for this work for centuries. Your matter has been prepared since the womb of your mother. As incarnates, it has been necessary to prepare your physical spiritual ensemble to achieve the alignment that would allow you to harmonize with the spiritual forces that will use you. Before you were born, your matter was prepared for your spirit. The higher the forces that will use you, the more vibrant they are. Therefore, your spirit must be harmonized vibrationally with those forces, and your matter must be harmonized with your spirit. This is the work which, from the higher planes, is performed in the instruments of the work of the Christ. Through the effort to perfect and purify yourselves, you become more and more subtle until you turn into channels of the higher vibrations and communicate our teachings and our forces to your brothers and sisters. Through them, you understand that you are only instruments, merely channels. Therefore, your mind and soul must keep this channel clear so that from the higher planes, the transmissions can flow through you. This is difficult for human beings, and often the interference of the self poses a significant hindrance and obstacle to these transmissions. Many higher beings have tried to provide teachings through channels or instruments, but this task has been very difficult by the mental or emotional interference of those who were channeling. You have been prepared for centuries, and through the teaching, you can understand perfectly well the need for your absolute surrender in the channeling tasks. We have been preparing you for a long time, and now, with love, we guide you. Surrender, therefore, with faith, but with absolute faith, aiming that neither your mind nor your emotions interfere with any of the tasks in which you must act as instruments of the higher vibrations. The laws created by God govern all that exists, and all beings are subject to these laws. Therefore, even for a highly elevated being, in order to accomplish achievements on a certain plane, they need to have the appropriate instruments in that plane. In other words, in your physical plane, the spiritual achievement, however elevated and powerful it may be, requires physical instruments to be performed. Hence the need for channels. Spiritualism is a marvelous science that will teach humankind all that which, despite being the very essence of human life, has remained until now a mystery. Spiritism could be considered an aspect of spiritualism. The manifestation of spiritual forces through physical elements represents a call to human consciousness to recognize the existence of forces that humankind is unaware of and cannot control. When human beings desire to utilize these forces guided by their vanity, ambition, or mere curiosity, they can only utilize forces susceptible to be used by ambition, vanity, or curiosity. In no spiritualistic practice can they attract elevated vibrations, profound and true teachings, if they do not perform these practices guided by the purest intentions of love, the desire for knowledge, and service. You can only expect what you give. If you request for the forces of space while vibrating negatively, you will only get negative responses. If, on the other hand, you request for the forces of space while vibrating positively, you will be able to get positive responses. Higher beings will never be at the service of human vanity, curiosity, or ambitious interests. Even when you pronounce an elevated invocation, even when you pronounce the names of higher beings, even when you perform rituals, you will only receive responses from the planes to which, due to your vibration, your thoughts or feelings can reach. The work of the Christ is not just another group with spiritual purposes. It is the grand work of the love of Jesus Christ that will be reflected on the planet and on humankind. You are beings who have been prepared spiritually for hundreds of years for this achievement. You will have to transmit to the world the knowledge of the truth that the world needs. You will be instruments, channels for the action on earth of the higher vibrations. So far, we have referred to you as our mediums because it was the most understandable word. Being a medium means to be an instrument. You are instruments. In fact, channels of the higher vibrations in the grand missionary task.